Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make the 7 small parts for the radial piston rod assembly. We're going to start with the rod bushing upper. So we'll go into File, New Part. I'm going to name it Rod Bush Upper, but you can name it whatever you want as long as you can find it later. Alright, first thing we're going to do is enter the XY plane, enter Sketcher, give it a minute. There we go. Now, this part's pretty simple, so we're just going to make 2 circles. First circle, it doesn't matter what size, as long as the second circle is concentric to its center point. Then we're going to constrain the 2. Inner diameter is 22 millimeters. And the outer diameter should be 24 millimeters, giving you something that looks like this. You should be able to move them around, and they'll stay connected. Now we're going to exit Sketcher, and simply just pad it up 42 millimeters. And you'll end up with a piece just like this. And that's literally it. It's a really simple part. Okay, so we're going to minimize that part, and we're going to create another new one. Same way. We're going to name this one Rod Bush Lower. Same thing, enter the XY plane, Sketcher. Now we're going to do this exactly the same way. 2 concentric circles with the center points coincident. Doesn't really matter what size until we constrain them. The outer one's diameter is 15 millimeters, and the inner diameter, oh, sorry, I did the inner diameter first. Inner diameter is 12 millimeters. Now I'll make the outer diameter 15 millimeters. There we have it. Now we just simply exit Sketcher, click Pad, and we're going to pad this up to 24 millimeters high, like so. You're going to end up with a little piece that looks just like this. Get another simple part. So we're done here. We're going to minimize it, create another new file, part. We're going to name this one Piston Pin. Click OK. Enter the XY plane. Sketcher. Same way as the first 2. Another 2 more concentric circles. Center points should be coincident. Outer diameter is going to be 22 millimeters. I did the inner again. This one should be 11. Inner diameter is 11. The outer diameter is 22. So it's a slightly thicker bushing, but it's still the same as the first 2. So now we're going to pad it up. And this one goes up 80 millimeters. It's a lot longer than the other 2. Should still fit on your screen though if you're zoomed in the right way. So it looks like this. Now that's all we have to do with that one, so we're done. We're going to minimize it, create a new part, scroll down to Part. We're going to name this Piston Ring, because that's what it is, not Poston, piston. We're going to enter the XY plane, Sketcher. Same as before, we're going to create 2 concentric rings. Make them a little bit bigger this time. This ring's larger. Like so. Making sure their 2 center points are coincident. Now we're going to do the inner radius first. Diameter, I mean. It's got an inner diameter of 85 millimeters. And it has an outer diameter of 93 millimeters. So you should end up with a thin but rather wide ring that looks just like this. Exit Sketcher, and we're going to pad it, but this one's thin, so it's only 3 millimeters thick. Click OK, and you end up with a pretty wide piston ring. It looks just like this. Going to isometric for you. There we go. Alright, and that's it. We're done with this part, so we're going to minimize it, create a new file, part. We're going to name this one Piston Pin Plug. This one's a little more fun. Same thing though. We're going to enter Sketcher in the XY plane. Create 2 concentric circles, center points coincident, like so. The inner circle's diameter is 11 millimeters, and the outer circle's diameter is 22 millimeters. So we get something that looks like this. It's the same top view as the piston pin, which makes sense because this is the piston pin plug, so that should be correct. We're going to exit Sketcher, and this time we're going to do something a little different. We're going to click multi-pad instead, because this one has a different pad shape. So we're going to start off by clicking this inner circle here, and it's going to be padded up 15 millimeters, like so, and then you're going to click the outer one, like this, and we're going to pad that one up 3 millimeters. So you should end up with what looks like almost a thumbtack shape, I suppose. Click OK, and you'll end up with something like this. We're almost done. Last thing we need to do is flip it over a little bit so you can see the top edge here. This, we're going to fillet this edge, this top edge. So you click this edge, it'll turn red, and go over here and click Fillet, Edge Fillet. It'll ask you what you want the radius to be, and its radius is 2 millimeters. Click OK. You should end up with a slightly rounded top, like so. It'll look just like that. And again, we're done with this part. It's pretty simple. We're going to minimize it. We're going to go to New Part. Part. We're going to name this one Master Rod Bearing. Like so. Bring it up to full screen. Enter Sketcher on the XY plane. And we're going to create 2 concentric circles. Center points coincident, just like before. Inner diameter of 46 millimeters. And an outer diameter of 52 millimeters, like so. You should be able to move them around and they'll stay together. It's a good way to check. Now we're going to exit Sketcher. Click Pad. Not multi-pad, we're just doing a single pad this time. And we're going to pad it up 70 millimeters. So it should come out looking just like this. So we're done with that one. We're going to minimize it. Click New Part again. Last time. Part. We're going to name this one Link Pin. There we go. Click OK. Enter the XY plane into Sketcher. Create 2 concentric and coincident circles like we've done the last 7 times. The inner diameter for this one will be 10 millimeters, while the outer diameter is going to be 15 millimeters. Move them around, make sure they stay together. Now, let me zoom in a little bit. We're done with this sketch, so we're going to exit Sketcher, and we're going to click multi-pad this time. And this way we're going to pad up the middle circle and then the outer two circles separately. So click number 1. It should be the inner circle will turn blue. We want to pad that up 50 millimeters. Click preview so you can see it go up. Alright, now you click the second one, number 2. It should make both circles blue. And pad that up 7 millimeters. Click preview. You should end up with something that looks like that. Click OK. And you're done. That's the link pin. Now, I've already made all these parts, so I'm not going to go back and save them, but you probably should. So just go back, click File, Save As, and put it wherever you want. It should be in the same folder as the previous parts, though, so when you go to do assembly, it'll have a reference point to find them. And with that, we're done.